ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shit. Subscribe.
We love those cheekbones.
Come on.
Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Transformers action figure review on the Hasbro and Takara Tomy's Transformers Generations Studio Series Leader Class Blackout. If you're trying to get your Transformers Studio Series figures, you can pre-order them right now.
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
I really like the Grimlock a lot, and I'm very excited for this Blackout figure. We get a nice window box packaging. You can see a nice image of Blackout over there. And then on the side, you can see Blackout again. He's number 8. And then on the back, you can see some product shots. You get a Scorponok right there. A little read-up over here in multiple languages. And right over there, just says Desert Base Assault. Then you can see Grimlock and Optimus Prime right over there. I do have the Optimus Prime pre-ordered along with Starscream. And then you can see Blackout and Scorponok. Kind of funny, we get a little window right here of an Autobot logo and other Decepticons. And then you can see a window sliver at the top, and not much more at the bottom. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Blackout out of the packaging in his vehicle mode, looking awesome. I really like this figure a lot. This is an awesome looking helicopter. Reminds me of a nice model helicopter, so I think that is really cool. A lot of nice details involved over here. I really do like this piece. However, there are some gripes that I do have about it, but nothing really too major. And by the way, this is a NECA display stand that I'm using right over there. I'll show you how I ported that into the bottom of the helicopter. But for right now, let's take a closer look at his accessories, and then we'll get a closer look at Blackout. So like all the other Studio Series figures, we get the cardboard diorama, and it's cool, I guess. I'm not the biggest fan of these, but you can see it's the same location as that scene with Blackout at the beginning of Transformers 1. Who you got an accessory? Okay, so you're not an accessory Scorponok, sorry, but yeah, this is awesome that we get a little Scorponok with the Blackout. Once again, this is really good looking. I love the amount of detail that we're seeing with this guy. I mean, look at that. We get some nice beige right here. Not quite gold. It does have a little bit of shimmer, but, you know, not enough to really call it gold. It looks a little bit more beige to me. And I really like the silver that we're seeing right here. We do get some flat gray plastic, and his beady eyes look really good right here. His little mandibles. Nice pincers that don't open. He does have a little bit of articulation, so you can move the claws, you know, out and forward, and then you can move the tail all the way up, you know, mostly due to transformation, and it can move downward as well. And this did pop off. So this guy does plug into the bottom of Blackout, which is great, and kind of sounds funny to say, but that's how you want to transform him, you know, just move the arms in and then collapse the tail. And there's 2 ports, well, there's actually 3 ports on the bottom of Blackout. There's one that kind of clamps around here, and then there's 2 that are very important that plug into these 2 pieces right here. So you just want to aim for that. Here's the bottom of Blackout, and we're just gonna, there's the 2 pegs that are going into the 2 ports that I had just mentioned, and I'll tend to just push down right here and squeeze, and then he'll stay and he won't fall out or anything. I think this is an awesome vehicle mode, but I guess most of my complaints, or a few of my complaints anyway, come from the cockpit area. I just rewatched the scene that I have on Blu-ray, you know, Transformers 1, and there is definitely gold trim around some of these windows. I think it's specifically around here. So I do miss having that, especially because we did get that on the original release. I also do not like that we see Blackout's head right through there from his robot mode. That bothers me. I just have this thing where I don't like seeing, you know, robot mode heads. I mean, that's a big no-no for me personally, but I'm sure a lot of people can just look past it. As far as the deco goes, it looks really good. You know, nice Decepticon symbol. It says P90X, 4500X, I mean. Not PN, that's not funny. Stop it with the dad jokes, dude. Nobody likes them. But anyway, I like how that we have these little sculpted vents on the side underneath the clear plastic. And nice windows right over here. And I really like how the paneling came out throughout on the figure. That's great. There is some tabbing issues that I have with this guy that can bother me, but I really do like how this all looks right here. And then you get your Air Force deco on the side. Move that NECA stand out of the way. And then another Air Force deco right here. On the right side, it's like this whole tabbing game. You can push this one in, but that's going to pop out. You push that one down, and then that one's going to pop out. Oh, yay. This is great. Oh, it's my favorite. Nice deco right there. It says Blackout, and then we get the rear propeller. It spins freely very well. I like that. Then just looking at the other underside right there, you can see the Scorponok figure, and you can see the robot bits very well hidden. Dig that. And then there's his gun, and he has his landing gear right there. And then you can see some more Air Force deco. And the propellers look really good too. Get some sculpted lines right here. You know, some little dots sculpted in there. And this spins, but it's not as loose as I'd like it to be. You know, it just wants to stop. I kept trying to pull this away, but it wouldn't, it doesn't loosen. So yeah, that could be frustrating, but I don't know. Still pretty cool. I just wish it could, I don't know. I'm sure someone's going to figure out a mod to make that spin a lot more freely. But yeah, I do like how this looks, man. One minor gripe of mine too, like I said, I have gripes, is I wish these pieces right here could collapse a little bit more inward. I guess it's not like that on the actual model of this Blackhawk, right? Isn't this a Blackhawk? I don't like seeing this weird gappage right here. I don't know, I'll do a comparison later on with the Voyager class figure. It doesn't stick out as much on that one, but I do appreciate the little grid sculpts that we're seeing right here on the side. That looks cool. And I did want to show off the landing gear, so you just pull this wheel down like that, and then you can see that we get the two wheels right here. And to quickly just show, this is where I ported the NECA stand, so you want the base of it facing the same direction as the front, and just ported it behind the wheels as they're tucked in, and then he'll stay like that, which is pretty awesome. I like that I can do that. But yeah, to get the landing gear out, you just flip this out, and then you can get him to just stand like that, and that looks pretty good. Or sit anyway, he's not really standing. And I didn't mention that on the left side, I don't have that tabbing game problem. These both stay in there pretty well. It's just on the right side. But anyway, to measure out this Blackout, you know, all the way up to the end of this gun, to the end of that propeller, he's at about 16 inches across. And then measuring the height of Blackout, you can see he's standing only about 4 inches tall. And then for our Blackout comparison, we have our new Leader class Blackout next to the original Voyager class Blackout from 2007, and you can see this guy is just a little bit darker in tone than this one. He has a little bit more of a bluish hue to it. I actually like the coloring on this one a little bit more. I don't know, I don't mind this being a brighter gray color, but I just do like how this looks a little bit more so. And you can see that gold trim right around here. We don't have that right there. I don't know, maybe I might paint that myself sometime, but just want to show these off side by side. Then we do get this function right here on this one where the propellers spin, you know, when you pull this button or push this button in, you know, it could spin. I always like that feature right here, and then yeah, you get that spinning too. And then I don't have the Scorponok that can get stored right here in the back, but yeah, still a good figure. And then here's Blackout with his release mate. We have the Leader class Grimlock, both amazing pieces. I gotta say, man, I'm still floored with this Grimlock figure. I love this figure so much. Yeah, you shouldn't be surprised to see him in a top 10 video at the end of the year. And then here's Blackout next to a deluxe class Bumblebee, and do they scale? I don't know. I think cars should probably be smaller compared to big helicopters like this, right? Like, wouldn't it be kind of closer to like half the size of this vehicle? I don't know. So let me know if you do know, but I don't know. I still kind of like how they scale together. And for why the hell not, here's Blackout next to an average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. So I do like that the transformation on this guy is not overly complicated, but it's still not the easiest one in the world. Anyway, will you take us away, Bumblebee? You're not the right... Will you take us away, Bumblebee? There we go. Alright, so you want to detach this piece right here, and this is his weapon. I guess this counts as a weapon, or is it parts forming? It could be just parts forming, but yeah, you detach right here and fold that in and go ahead and set that off to the side. We'll bring that back in later on. And now we want to, I like to start by getting these out of the way right here, and then I want to split this guy in half right here and get these arms out of the way. And there we go, get that out there, and I'm actually going to focus more so on the legs. We can go ahead and move these in and get Scorponok out of there. Get out of there, Scorponok. He's nicely secure inside there. And these will form the feet. Untab right here, as they like to do on their own sometimes, right, as we already went over. And get this all out of the way. And then I'm going to separate these parts right here in the very front. So I just pulled that back and those just released. And then this is going to release right here. Split these up in the front right there, get that out of the way, and then that's going to allow us to get this whole lower section of the figure moving downward, and then we could get going on those feet. So I'm going to slide this out. It's going to slide out from right there, and I'll demonstrate that again. That was a little off camera. Swing this in and then rotate away and then push that back in. So on the side you can see it much better. I'm gonna separate right there and then rotate. Oh, then do this. Yeah, come on, which way did you go? There we go. And then rotate, and then you can see the plastic kind of whitening right over there. I don't know if you could really see it, but that kind of scares me a little bit. So there are a little bit of QC issues I've kind of run into with this guy. Anyway, you're going to rotate 90 degrees right there on that upper thigh joint, and you're going to flip the leg or the foot forward, rotate outward 90 degrees over there, and then move that foot forward, and then now we have the bottom half of him. Pretty easy. Well, you got to actually get the legs into position. He kind of has those raptor legs, so get those all folded in nicely. And then this whole piece right here, you could just go ahead and flip this in. This portion is going to fold. You want this to go downwards, so you can see this piece right here, this whole like rectangular shape. You're gonna go ahead and punch that in, and then that's gonna help collapse, and it's gonna tab in right over here. You can see the little port, and that's gonna go ahead and tab in right over there. And then we have the arms, which are really the most complicated part of the transformation, I think. So I like to fold out the hand, and then you want to separate this whole piece right here, and that's going to separate and fold downward. And then this piece is going to fold inward, and then you have to swing this down and tab in right there. And then you can move that arm down, and then this whole thing's going to fold in. And these little clips right here, oh man, this one has some whitening right there on that little clip, and it's kind of scary. It's like there's a couple of times where I've taken it apart, I'm like, oh, it sounds like I broke something, man. And then you could rotate the bicep around so that his elbow's facing forward. There you go. And then do a similar thing over here on this side, and get this out of the way so that we could fold this whole panel in, and then get this separated right here, and then swing that down, swing the whole arm down once again, and then we're gonna get this attached, as you can see right there. It just ports in nicely. Oh, I just took this off. Dang it. Hold on a second. Put it right back. And that goes back in there pretty easily. And then swing this down, and this has a little tab that'll go in. And then you want to rotate the bicep around so that you can get this. And I forgot the hand. Ah, you imbecile. All right, there's the hand. And then retab that, and that goes back in there pretty easily. And then we have this lower portion right here. You're going to want to move that landing gear up, and then just push down or push up through this so it just slides. So you can see that rectangle piece, push that up, and then hey, there's his head. Yeah, sweet. And then fold this down, and then move that piece down. And then we're going to get this whole side piece tabbed in right here. And we're getting close, man. And then we're going to make sure that these guys are out of the way so we can get that whole piece that sits above his head displayed properly. And these guys are going to fold inward and then move up. They have two hinges on them, so you're going to fold inward and then move this out. And then this guy, oops, it's a little floppy right there, and there is some stress marking right there. So yeah, stress marks on this guy for sure. So that I don't like. Oh, and make sure that you pull this flap back right there, and then you can go ahead and move that whole EMP blaster. I don't know if it's actually an EMP blaster. I always thought it was though. And then we can go ahead and move this whole assembly into his back, and it's going to connect right here, not right into the culo, but into this little port right there. We have that tab, and that's what we're aiming for. And one thing that doesn't help is having this piece right here in the way, so I gotta make sure I can move those up, and then this will tab in there a lot easier for me. And like I said, just a bit above the culito, and we can get that in place. There that goes. Then move this guy back into his proper port, and then these guys are going to sit here. Well, we can move the propellers. There's this propeller section that detaches, so you can see that it kind of just all collapsing together. It kind of forms like a cape for this guy, which I always thought was kind of a neat choice. And then you can move these two panels forward, and then you want these pieces on the sides that we were looking at earlier to kind of sit downward, and you want to make sure that these panels are sitting on top of this right here. So I had to detach that to fix that, so I'm going to report that in there, and then have this sit right here, and this folds down right on top of it like that. And then make sure that everything is tabbed in properly, and then scooch this down. And the last thing we really need to do is move this whole front gun downward, and then attach his accessory right there to his forearm. It just tabs in, and now we have Blackout in his robot mode, and this is awesome looking. I really love this robot mode a lot. I really do like both modes, but man, this thing, yeesh, I just think Hasbro and Takara Tomy have done such a fantastic job with these two leader class figures of the Grimlock and Blackout, and just looking at him rotating right over here looks incredible. Let's get a closer look. Now, not until getting this figure did I realize that Blackout's face kind of looks like the Decepticon symbol, doesn't it? Right? Doesn't he? Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, if you think it does or doesn't, I think that is a great looking face sculpt. That is amazing. I just rewatched the beginning of the first Transformers movie, and that looks very accurate to how he looked in the film. I love that gunmetal gray. I am sad that there's not more of it throughout the figure. I really wish there was more of that, but still, I mean, I'm just happy that the face sculpt looks so good. Nice beady red eyes right there. I love it. And then looking at the top right there, you can see this whole cannon thing. You know, it looked like he was like shooting those EMP blasts from his hands or his forearms, but still that looks really cool. I like that. We do get a little bit more of the gunmetal right here on the inside of these guys, so that's kind of neat that it's there. You know, it looks good. I like this. And then looking on the side, you can see some parts from the helicopter, but the details right here and the limbs look really nice. I really like that a lot. The hands are kind of weird, but, you know, I just wish we could rotate the wrists around so that he's not always just like that. You know, he's always kind of like that unless you rotate the bicep. And it does get a little clunky with these helicopter bits right here. That can be a bit frustrating, you know, but yeah, it's not the worst in the world. Then looking at the lower torso, I do like we get a little bit of gunmetal for the crotch, so it's not looking too bad. And, you know, so it's not like that sparse, I guess. I guess I shouldn't complain. Just I wish to see the gunmetal like on the hands and, you know, right here on the legs. So, I don't know. I just really like gunmetal gray a lot. So, I always like to see more and more of that. But the sculpted details that I'm looking at right here, I'm very happy with. Like on the side of the leg right here, that looks impressive to me. I'm pleased with that. Same thing right around here. That looks really good. I like the feet too. Nice Blackout toes. Not looking too shabby. And then here's looking at the back, and then we do get a port, so if you wanted to stick a Figma stand in there, you could do that, even though I think he's too heavy for that kind of thing. Just to demonstrate, and of course I want to demonstrate the Gulo insertion, so yeah, there that goes. Actually, he might be able to stand on this Figma stand. Hey, that actually works. It's just a tiny little stand compared to the rest of this robot, but oh, there he goes forward. But anyway, I wanted to show that you can have Scorponok plugged into his back over here, which I think is pretty cool. So I like to split so that we have, you know, 3 propellers on each side, and then you can just port him in right here. So just like in the movie, he just pops off. So that's pretty cool. You can complete that. I think that is pretty awesome looking. Very cool, chunky robot mode. Now for articulation, it is a bit limited. You can get his head turning side to side, so that's pretty good. And his head won't really move up. It can move down just a tad, and you don't get any real pivot over here. His shoulder joints allow his arms to move outward that far. You can move him downward. You can move his arms forward, so that's pretty sweet. They move back that much. You also get like a faux armpit joint in here due to the transformation, so you can move his shoulders in and out right there, so fake butterfly joint. And then you also get rotation at the bicep, and he bends in at the elbow, and then the wrist just moves up and down. I really wish that there was a way to turn this sideways, but anyway. No waist swivel at all. And you do get hip joints that allow the legs to move all the way outward, and it's kind of a clunky figure, but you can do the splits, and he can kick back this much. He can't kick forward as much. He does have this flap in the way, and even though you can move this flap forward and back some, it only allows him to kick forward just that far. He does have that upper thigh swivel. Then you get a joint in the knee right here and right here, but he does have the raptor kind of formation with his legs, so, you know, having him, you know, all the way extended like that is not really film accurate. You know, you want to take advantage of, you know, them having all this film accurate detail. His ankles will move down some, and they will move up a bit, and I do like how this whole contraption works right over here. You know, I think that's pretty awesome. You can move his feet all the way down, especially due to the transformation. And he does have really good ankle pivot. That makes me so happy. Now, measuring out this Blackout figure, you can see that he is standing at about 8.5 inches tall. And then for another Blackout comparison, we have both Blackout figures, the Voyager class and our Leader class right here in their robot modes. I think I transformed this guy correctly. I have not taken this figure off my ceiling in years, and this guy was covered in dust. One way to clean up dust is a wet paper towel. That's what I did to clean this guy up, but there's still some dusty parts on this guy. But yeah, I mean, this is a much improved piece compared to our original Blackout figure. And then comparing Blackout once again to his release mate, we have the leader class Grimlock, and oh my god, that thing is just so awesome. But yeah, much taller leader class than this leader class right here. I guess maybe if I extend the legs out all the way, could be closer to Grimlock's height. Yeah, I guess they're a little bit closer in height, but Grimlock should tower over Blackout anyway, right? Shouldn't he? And then here's our leader class Blackout next to the leader class Megatron from the last night, and these two don't appear on screen together, but I don't know, I think they scale pretty well. They're about the same height. And then here's leader class Blackout next to leader class Starscream, and wow, man, this is such a huge leader class figure compared to that Blackout. It's ridiculous. But, you know, bringing back the Grimlock again, yeah, that Starscream still stands taller than Grimlock over here, but yeah, still love that Starscream figure. Thanks for finding it for me, Sean Long. Then here's Blackout once again next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Ooh, what's this do? Whee! Oh, cool. Whee! I like this. Wow! I gotta give a big thanks to you guys that watch my videos from the beginning to the end. I really do appreciate it, especially with these longer Transformer reviews. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you have not done those things already. And I like this figure a lot. Now, we don't see Blackout jumping in the air like this or anything in the movie, but I just wanted to see how it would work with me getting that Figma stand in there and getting him into a dynamic pose. It's a fairly dynamic pose. The guy does have ankle pivot, but he doesn't really have a whole ton of articulation overall, and he's not really that agile of a character, really. I mean, when we see him in the movie, he's just kind of stomping around and shooting down at a bunch of sitting ducks, you know what I mean, at the military and everything. So, very cool scene, but very cool figure as well. I really do like this piece. I don't like it as much as I like it. I don't like it as much as the Grimlock, so it gets a sud rating of I love it! Because I actually really do love this figure still. It's just not as cool as a Grimlock figure. Anyway, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, it should be over at ShartimusPrime.net, as well as my social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow me over there by checking out the links in the description below, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!
That's crispy.